Hello, dear sisters. We're getting ready for the Mother of Miracles Anointment. And I did take some notes here because there is a lot to cover yet again. It is so funny when I came up with the Divine Mother activation, I thought that was it. Oh my God, this is the pinnacle. This is it. I had no idea there was more. And who knows what's on the other side of this, because I've learned that, as we expand in truth, the truth keeps expanding around us. So anyway, the Divine Mother activation was, even though I didn't know it at the time, it was a purifier, to get you here to this place. It was to sort of fully surrender to the divine. So now that we're fully surrendered, we can allow in those miracles. As I wrote down here, the Divine Mother activation was the doorway to let the divine fully in, and the Mother of Miracles anointment is the doorway to your divine inheritance, to your blessings, and to your miracles. And there's so much to cover, and there's so much energy around this. So where should we get started? First off, if you made it here, you're a graduate of the Divine Mother activation, and I just have to give you huge props for that, because I know that was a journey. That was an absolute journey, and it's still a journey, and I don't want you to be worried about being perfect about it. This is not about being perfect, because on the divine realm, we're already perfect, which we'll be talking about. But as a human, that doesn't mean we have to be perfect in all our thoughts and all our words and all our actions. We're not going to be perfect, at least not right away, and maybe never. And it doesn't matter, because as I said, we're already perfect. What matters is course correction. So we're at a place right now where we can continually correct course. So don't worry about if you do the wrong thing or you say the wrong thing. If you're in a situation you don't want, as we learned in the Divine Mother activation, call in the law of forgiveness. Everything we've learned there is even more applicable now. So we call in the law of forgiveness. We call in the Divine Mother to surrender to her and just to take it over. And it works just like that. I had to do it just about an hour ago. You think you've reached a certain spot, and then a little trigger that you weren't expecting comes up, and you can feel the old stuff like, oh my God, this is so icky and I don't want any part of it. And so you just got to call in the law of forgiveness. And seriously, once you do and surrender it over, it can change just like that. My situation changed just like that. So it's not about being perfect in our actions and our words. It's about being human and doing a course correction and watching how that can change things. So that has been prepping us for where we are right now. The trust that we've been building, the surrender we have been understanding, the expansion we've been undergoing, it's brought us here to this moment. And the energy is so big that I really can't keep track of it, which is why I need to keep referring to my notes. So what I want us to realize right now is through the Divine Mother activation, and I did so many readings with all of you, and this card kept coming up, and it's one that we should all take to heart. Debt paid off. That maybe used to just mean financial debt, but right now it means karmic debt. The karmic debt has been paid off. We don't have to do the karma game anymore. So this truly is a new beginning into our true lives that are gonna look, take it from me, entirely different and so much more amazing than we could have ever come up with on our own. So the debt has been paid off. And as we went through the Divine Mother activation, we had to face some fears. And as we faced those fears, we realized, oh my God, there's nothing to fear here. And we'll still have fears to face, but when we do it in the arms of the Divine Mother, it just becomes so much easier because we surrender it over and let her take the battle. So we are primed and ready here, dear sister. So the karmic debt has been paid off. We're entering into fearlessness. Another huge theme of the Divine Mother activation that we just finished was, The releasing of guilt, according to A Course in Miracles, and I'm paraphrasing, a guiltless soul is a free soul, or a guiltless mind is a free mind. It is so true. We are unleashing the guilt. And if you can look around objectively, you can realize every horrible emotion we've ever felt, whether it be anger or frustration or whatever else, it's really all based in guilt. And so the Divine Mother activation has helped us immensely dissolve that guilt so we can be free. There's so much to talk about. When you can be free without guilt, dear sister, your experience of life will be entirely different. And now I can even fully more see why the roles that you're going to be playing in your mothering are so huge. Because up until now, I don't think guilt-free mothering is something that ever existed. In fact, a friend and I have been talking about this. Like, when we became mothers years and years ago, the guilt maybe just doubled because you feel like you're in charge of this person and you have to do this a certain way. If you don't do it a certain way, you're doing it wrong. Children can be a huge avenue for us to face more of our guilt. And to not have that dynamic into your relationship with your child is going to be hugely freeing in ways that I can't even envision right now. All I know is hugely, hugely freeing. And I'm bringing that guilt-free into my, guilt-free perspective into my own mothering right now and seeing how it shifts and changes things instantly. So it's never too late to become guilt-free because everything will change around that instantaneously. It really does. When we change, everything else around us change. And now that we don't have the guilt or the fear or the karmic debt, it's so amazing how much energy is now being freed up, dear sisters. So much energy is now being freed up when we're not carrying around these heavy loads. And that is why the miracles can now come in. The Mother of Miracle Anointment. I want to talk a little bit about the words. The Mother of Miracles, as you know, is the Divine Mother. But then, as you also know, you are the Divine Mother. And you are becoming a Mother of Miracles. So again, it's that twofold. We're honoring the Mother of Miracles as we become the Mother of Miracles. We become this conduit for her miracles to come through us. The anointment means to make something sacred. So this is what's going on through this newest journey. We are expansing into our sacredness as we become a Mother of Miracles by honoring and surrendering to the true Mother of Miracles. So that's what all that's about. And it's just so delicious and yummy, isn't it? Let's see. Okay, so I have been doing so much reading and research into miracles and healing and all that stuff. And when something is like for me to integrate on my own, it sort of jumps out at me. And something jumped out at me when someone said there was about to be an outpouring of miracles. And I'm like, oh yeah, an outpouring of miracles. And if you've been following my blog for a while, you'll know that in 2017, I started talking about a spirit baby boom. And I'm getting chills right now, even just talking about it. But this outcome of miracles is also related to the spirit baby boom. The outpouring of miracles starts now. It starts right now. If you have been miscreating since 2012 or shortly thereafter, the karmic debt has been paid off, and now is the time in this freed up energy to really bring in these miracles, an outpouring of miracles. And it's, when you think of it in your head, it looks like it's coming from, other places, but it's actually coming through us. We are the conduits. So this is the time for the outpouring of miracles. And I love what I wrote here. It's time to be restored from our miscreations. It's time to be fully renewed and restored through miracles. So as I've been saying all this time, we've been purposefully miscreating, and all of that has not been in vain. And even if it seems like the miscreation were years in the making and in the development, the restoration, dear sister, can happen so much faster. So much faster. And something else I read that's coming to me now, you can do more in a year when you're fully melded with the divine than you can do in 50 years without her. So this year is pivotal in restoration, renewal, and an outpouring of miracles. And I'm so excited about it, and I can truly attest to it because everything I have been talking about for years and years is starting to come about now in ways that I could not envision and did not envision. It's coming in differently, but it's coming in better. So all this time, we thought we were on our journey to a spirit baby, you know, a great relationship, a better life, a better this, more financial stability. We thought we were looking for these things, but what we've been truly looking for is that relationship with the divine. And with that relationship with the divine comes in our divine inheritance. And our divine inheritance includes all those things. The wonderful purpose, the upgraded relationships, increased health and vitality, and the spirit babies. So that is our divine inheritance. It's not just about the babies, it's about our relationship with the divine that renews everything around us. I'm so excited. Okay. Okay. When it comes to miracles, it's such a big word, isn't it? It's like the pinnacle of all the best words out there. Miracle. And so because of that, it can seem a little intimidating and it can seem a little impossible, but it's not. And we are going to make miracles much more accessible because they truly are our birthright. We are returning back to something we originally were. So, you know, as I wrote down here, what we perceive as miracles is really our true divine inheritance. It is the perfection that we always were. And that goes with healing too. Because when I talk about healings, and when I talk about miracles, healings are involved in that. So, dear sisters, there will be healing going on right here. And that's also something that needs to be taken down a notch in the impossibility and in the hugeness of it. For me, it really had to be taken down a notch, you know. So, you know, as I've said, when I came to understand what this Mother of Miracles activation was, it was so huge to me at the time that it brought me down to my knees, and I'm crying. I'm absolutely crying. Seriously, I'm on my knees in a holy position of just, oh my God, of reverence, and I'm crying because it felt so huge to me. And yeah, that was appropriate because it was huge at the time. But I've had to understand and realize that this is not huge. This is simple, this is easy, and this is what we're supposed to be doing right now, dear sisters. So we're not only just bringing the miracles through, we are bringing the miracles through, and healing is a part of that. And when I say healing, I do mean healing of the body. I mean healing of diseases. I mean healing of the reproductive organs. I mean healing. And it seems so huge, but it's not. So we're going to make it, again, more accessible, more everyday, more of what we are supposed to be doing. So right now, I am going to give you just a little brief discussion of the separation that we experienced way back, the true history of the world according to the divine, and according to A Course in Miracles and other trusted sources, especially my own heart. So Just very briefly, because I don't want to make this a big thing, but it's important for us to understand. So, at the beginning, before the beginning, there was the source. There was the Divine Mother, whatever you want to call it, Spirit God. And we were made of this source in her image of perfection. Of perfection. We are a piece of God. We are God's perfection. And that was wonderful for a long time until a piece of us decided, I wonder what it would be like to separate from the source and go off and create on my own. And according to A Course in Miracles, that is when the Big Bang happened, through our own consciousness, our own idea of separation. And we separated from heaven, we separated from God. And since then, we have been punishing ourselves because the separation is not real. It's really not real. We've always been nestled in the arms of the divine. This is a thought form we came up with. And our minds are very powerful. So from our minds, we created this false world, a hologram. It's a hologram. The only thing that's really, truly real is the source, the Divine Mother, her love for us, and our place within her. Her gifts for us are the only thing that's real. Our perfection, that is her perfection, is the only thing that's real. Love is the only thing that is real. Everything else, like this world we created, she didn't even create the world, if you can understand that. That blew my mind when I heard it 11 years ago, and it still kind of blows my mind now. We created this world as a symbol of our separation. We created the horrors as a symbol of our own guilt. We created these bodies ourselves as a symbol of our separation. We created these holograms. These are holograms. It's not real. So I think I said this in the Divine Mother activation. I'm going to say it now. When we have that thought of separation, it was like giving ourselves a nightmare. We've still been nestled in the arms of the divine, but our eyes have been closed. And she's gently been cajoling us to wake up, you're right here, you're perfect, just as you are, wake up, wake up. So that's just the brief history, and I say this because we have to understand what is real and what is not real. These bodies are not real. They can be easily changed. This world is not real. It can be easily changed. We created a nightmare with this thought of separation, and now we call the divine in to redo the hologram in a beautiful way. It will still be a hologram, but it'll be a beautiful hologram made according to her plan and her vision. Because when we are melded with the divine, that's when we truly create heaven on earth. We can't do it without her. I hope all that makes sense. So I say all of this because when we remember what we are and where we came from and how much we are loved, that's when everything transformed. We have to remember we're loved, and that's why the journey to self-love has been so important to bring us here to this point. We had to love ourselves first to realize we were worthy of the divine love the whole time. We have been divine love the whole time. So anyway, I'm just going to read some of my notes. When we fully surrender to the divine, we are letting her change our hologram into a reflection of heaven. It's important to realize at all times we are innocent. We are guilty of nothing, and we never have been, and we are perfect and unlimited. And it is from this vantage point that we will bring in the miracles, that we will bring in the renewal. So I do want to talk a little bit more about healing, because healings, just as miracles, are natural. It's part of the restoration. It's part of the happy hologram, making it all right. We were thinking with the wrong mind before, the monkey mind, and it was part of our spiritual evolution, but it's done. And now we think with the divine mind and with the right mind, and with that comes the renewal, restoration, the healings, and the miracles. So to bring it down a notch in the hugeness of it, all we're doing is reclaiming our birthright. And for me, the rewiring in my brain when it comes to healings is, if healing seems too big, like I am going to be healed, look at it as being imparted with the truth. Even in my own healing journeys throughout the years, but especially as it has accelerated recently, I've been able to do little healings, and, I've talked about this in the Divine Mother activation. Maybe I felt like I was worthy of the little healings. I wasn't attached to it. But when it comes to the bigger ones, the whole sense of worthiness comes in. Oh, am I worthy for this healing? Am I worthy for this? Am I worthy of this love? So if we can look at healings instead of as truth, even if you don't feel like you are worthy of a miraculous healing, surely you still must feel worthy of the truth. Aren't we all worthy of hearing and listening and experiencing the truth? So look at healings as just as the truth being imparted on you. This is the love of the Divine Mother. It's really just the love and truth of the Divine Mother that makes a healing. So a healing in essence is just love and truth. And we are all worthy of that. So, let's see. Where else should we go now? Okay. So, when it comes to miracles, dear sister, there are no degrees. So this is something else that needs to be normalized. So if miracles and healing are just part of our birthright and part of the restoration, there are no degrees of it. And we don't have to look at it coming from us. It's coming from the divine. We are just a conduit to bring it through. So we don't have to rely on our own power and our own abilities. She is as limitlessness in healing a paper cut as she is in healing cancer or infertility or a simple burn you get while cooking a grilled cheese. There are no degrees of difficulties when it comes to healing and miracles. They're all the same. When we limit ourselves, we are limiting the Divine Mother. And that's just crazy talk. She's not limited, so why would we be limited? And this is something that we will learn and understand the more we grow in faith and trust. So, it is an incremental understanding and trust. Like right now, I know I can easily heal paper cuts and burns. I told you about the burn story in my Divine Mother activation. I burned one finger, called it in and said only love is real. I noticed it didn't hurt. And then I called it in immediately the next day, the same day when I burned myself again. And there was no indication of a burn whatsoever and no hurt. When it comes to healing, though, it will also highlight where we're attached or how we're attached. And I keep getting these divine demonstrations to show me how easy it can be and how I'm still attached to it. So, I got another burn. And again, I don't burn myself that much in the kitchen. So I know these are all divine demonstrations set up to show me, all this healing business. So I did burn myself again while cooking. And I called it in, and because of my past experiences, I'm like, well, it's got to go away right away. It went away right away last time. So here I am monitoring it. Why is it still hurting? I surrendered it. That's being attached to it. When I surrendered it before, I surrendered it lightly, casually, went about my business. And that's when I realized it was healed. When I, called in her healing and monitored it, and why isn't it happening yet? That's showing a lack of faith, and it's showing attachments. So once that was demonstrated to me, I'm attached to it. So I just have to trust the healing happened and move on. So you move on. You go love something. Go love your pet. Go give somebody a compliment. Just trust that it's happened and move on. And I had that experience again a few days later with a cut. And these cuts are coming from no place that I can see. So again, it's a divine demonstration. I have just a little cut. And I'm like, okay, I have to heal it. So I called in the healing. But then again was still attached. Well, why does it still hurt? Why does it still hurt? Why does it still hurt? So this is just something to be aware of. Are we going to receive the healings perfectly right at once? Yes, we can. And then we might get attached to it and monitor it and wondering why it's not healing. This is a journey of healing and miracles. So don't fret if it's not working right away. It just goes to show where there needs to be more faith, more turning away, surrendering, and loving and trusting that it's already happened. And we'll get into that a lot more with the emails the email videos that will help supplement and support the miracles. But just so you know, if there's attachment, if there's monitoring, then it is showing a lack of faith. So we have to call in the healing, trust that it's happening, turn away, just love and do something else. And when it comes back up, if you feel like something hasn't been healed, instead of saying, oh, this hasn't worked yet, I guess I got to go do it again. We don't want to keep we don't want to heal multiple times. That's showing the lack of faith. It's showing the attachment. It's saying, okay, this isn't working, this isn't working, this isn't working. So when you call it in, trust it. You can put it in your God box if you want, your Divine Mother box. And when it comes up again, rejoice. We talked about this in the Divine Mother activation. Rejoice. This is in the hands of the Divine Mother. She is now vigorously restoring me. When we can have that vibration of expectancy, trust, and faith, that's where the healing comes in. And there will be healings, sisters. There will. Something else that came to me while I was doing my research, and I can't quote any of these things because I don't remember where they were. A lot of them were through videos. But someone had a near-death experience. And in that near-death experience, he was with Jesus. Jesus went up to heaven and showed him all these things. And one of the things that stuck out to him, and stuck out to me, and I'm like, oh, that's important, was this building called Unclaimed Blessings. And in that building were things like legs and arms and organs and eyes. And you'd wonder, what is this grotesque thing? Why do we need this? Because it was a demonstration that nothing is impossible. We can have a new arm. We can have a new leg. We can have new eyes. We can have new reproductive organs. We can have new health. Unclaimed Blessings was there because people didn't know that they could ask for such large things in their eyes, but were really just part of their divine inheritance. The divine is not limited. So I have been researching and reading and watching of miraculous healings, and they are truly otherworldly. Our human minds can't really understand how. And I've read this in multiple places, how if you have a leg that is 2 inches shorter than the other one, that you can watch the leg grow as it's healing. People who've been in wheelchairs forever, for 32 years, 22 years, are all of a sudden being able to get up and walk. People are given new hands. I mean, I'll pull together some stories, even though I have to say, there's not many great ones out there for the masses. They're all religious, and they can be kind of a turnoff when you bring in that religion part of it. But religion does have part of it right, and that is the faith in the divine to restore us and renew us. We don't have to have the same language and the same beliefs and the same symbols. We just have to have the same faith. So nothing is impossible. Don't be one of those women who has something in the unclaimed blessings building of heaven. It is time for you, dear sister, to claim all your blessings. And we're going to do this together. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay. Yeah. So our infertility was a belief we created just due to the belief in our separation. And again, it was appropriate, but it is not anymore. So we are expanding our beliefs. We're changing our beliefs from the ones of fear, doubt, and limits to one of expansiveness, impossibilities, inevitabilities, miracles, blessings, and healings. That's the language we're speaking now. So the next part of our plan is to remember who we truly, truly are, and not in baby steps, dear sister. I know that you can attest that there's been great leaps through the Divine Mother activation. Well, this is a whole quantum shift, this Mother of Miracles thing. We're stepping into whole new territory, stepping into heavenly territory, which is why I was brought to my knees. We're stepping into heavenly territory where it's new and it's true. It is time. It is time to do this. Your healing is needed because the world needs healing. When we heal ourselves, we heal the world, and it is time. So again, it's no more baby steps, no more holding back like, oh, that sounds good in the future. No, no, no. The time is now. The outpouring of miracles happens now. The claiming of our divine miracle, our divine inheritance happens now. Okay, so let's see. I'm just going to read some of my notes here. And I already said this in certain ways, but I'm going to say it again. So the more one believes and trusts in the love of the Divine Mother, Source, Spirit, whatever you want to call it, the more you believe and trust in her love for us and her plan for us, the easier it will be to accept your miracles and to accept your healings. And it will grow. So don't feel like you have to be in a certain place right now. It will grow throughout as we do this. These miracles are truly, truly ours. Okay. So what are we going to be doing during this Mother of Miracles Anointment? What are we going to be doing? We're going to be building on everything that we've learned in the Divine Mother activation. So we're going to be calling in the law of forgiveness a lot. That's one you're going to keep with you the rest of your life, the law of forgiveness. I told you I used it right before I started recording this, and it works instantaneously in amazing ways. We're going to be calling in the law of forgiveness for any abnormalities, infertility problems, reproductive infirmaries, any disorders, explained or unexplained. We'll be calling in the law of forgiveness for that. We're going to be surrendering, as always. We will be affirming our innocence. We are truly innocent. We have done nothing wrong. It's all been a bad dream that we're about to wake up from. We're going to be also affirming our perfection and our limitlessness. We're going to be blessing everybody. So you're going to notice that your mind is going to start thinking differently. You're going to start talking differently. And we're going to do affirmations galore to rewire the brain from a fearful monologue in our, our monkey mind monologue to a glorious dialogue with the divine. We're going to be talking to her all the time. And we will be increasing our faith in the powers of love and trust. That's what we're going to be doing here as we accept these miracles into our lives. Remember, we don't have to make them happen ourselves. We don't have to trust in our abilities to do this. We just have to trust that we are in a place to receive them and have them come through us, because the Divine Mother is our strength. She is our power, and she will give us what is truly ours, what was always ours, and we're just getting it back. We are just remembering. This is all about remembering. All right, so there are some warnings, okay? Some warnings about the Mother of Miracle activation, okay? And these warnings are that your whole life is about to change forever. And this is not anything to be afraid of. When we're in the arms of the Divine Mother, the sacrifice is over. The suffering is over. There is nothing we need to sacrifice or suffer anymore. And our lives are going to change to reflect that. So your lives are going to change forever. Your outlook on life will become totally different. You will start thinking differently and talking differently, just as you said. I was asking my husband, do you find it strange that I'm talking differently now? Thank God he's just totally good with it, because he can see the change in me. So of course he's going to welcome anything that is bringing about this immense change in me. What else will happen? Other warnings are you will have immense outbursts of love and joy. You might be brought to tears and love and gratitude and just amazement for the ways of the Divine Mother. Whew. Your life's purpose, dear sister, will change and will expand in unprecedented and truly joyful ways. This is a big one. I never saw my work taking off in this direction, and I never saw myself enjoying it as much as I do now. As much as I do this for you, I feel like it's for me too, and I am so, so grateful. Oh, and you're going to experience what I'm experiencing right now. Another warning is you're going to become high on the love of the divine. You will become high on that. It will be a blissful, amazing experience. You will start looking forward to waking up every single day in childlike wonder, wondering what blessings await you that day. And you will also fully believe in the Divine Mother's ability to heal you, and you're going to want to tell everyone about it. So these are my warnings to you, so you know what you're getting into. And it will all happen joyfully, organically, naturally, and in ways that will blow your mind. So let's just start off by saying right now, okay, one simple affirmation before we even begin and get into this. Close your eyes if you want. I will say it for you, for us. I am confident in the Divine Mother's power to heal me. I am confident in my ability to receive her healings, her miracle, and love. I am confident in my ability to receive the truth of my being. So that's what we're setting yourself up for right now, dear sisters, is the truth of your being. And these healings are not even the pinnacle. These healings you're going to be experiencing are not the pinnacle of your existence. It's to get you to your miraculous life. These healings have to happen because it's just the next step. This is the restoration. This is the renewal, and it is time, and it is easy. It is normal. This is easy. Every day, the more I read about healings and witnessed videos about healings, it becomes actually kind of like another healing, another miraculous healing. So if you are ready for the mundane, miraculous healings of everyday life, this is what we're doing for right now. So it can feel huge right now as you take it in. When it feels huge, that is your body's truth integrating the hugeness of it. And then we normalize it because it is simple, it is easy, it is what you're supposed to be doing right now. And I am so blessed and so honored and so joyfully grateful to be taking this journey with you, dear sister. Thank you for being a mother of miracles. I love you.